Hey, what's going on? Luke here. If you've been following my channel for quite some time, you know that I don't normally upload FIFA videos or EAFC, depending on what you want to call it. Obviously, this year it's EAFC, but back in the day, I did actually upload FIFA, and that's what we're doing. We're going back to our roots. And when EAFC24 was released, I started watching YouTube videos, and despite it being a couple years, I got that desire again to make videos on FIFA/EAFC24. Still feels weird saying it. So that's where the Aston Villa career mode comes into the picture, and that's what we're going to be doing. Now, I want this career mode to be quite old school. I want it to be right to the point. Obviously, I'm going to be showing you bits and pieces, and this first episode is going to be quite different to what it's probably going to be going forward. Yes, there's going to be live commentary and all that sort of stuff going forward, but just for this introduction episode, I don't feel like it's necessary to go over every single transfer and every single negotiation I had and go through all the menus and the team developments and all that sort of stuff. Quite frankly, it would just look shit if I try to take you on this in-depth career mode. Essentially, I'm just going to show you what you need to see, which is just the game, some transfers, a few things like that. So speaking of transfers, let's go ahead and take a look at the ins and outs, because I did have a fair bit of budget to work with, and let me tell you, we made some big signings. We also made some big sales as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ins and outs, and also just take a look at the squad in general. So here we are to take you over all of the transfers, the ins and outs of the first transfer window. So Duran, he went to Elche on loan. He is someone who's definitely a prospect. I've been watching the Jared HD save, and I'm pretty sure it's him who's actually turned out to be quite good. So he's someone I need to keep an eye on. Cherki was my first big signing, 10.8 million. I think his value was about 10.5, something along the lines of that. So I think we got a pretty good deal. He's 75 rated, 5-star skill moves, which isn't important, but 5-star weak foot is quite important for me. And his ball control is absolutely amazing. So I'm just looking for that destroyer in the cam role who can just, I don't know, just sort of run through the defense essentially. I'm hoping he could do that. Maybe not right now, but going forward, I hope he can. Douglas Luiz was the first big loss that we had. 25.5 million for him. But the reason I was looking to get rid of him is because I had plans for bringing someone else in, and you'll see in a second who it actually is. In fact, Den Docker was the next one as well. We just sort of had to get rid of both of them. So that cleared out about, what, 32.5, and then we brought in Chouameni from Real Madrid, Chewy as I like to call him, 49.5 million for him, which was, according to like the game, it was an A transfer. It was his market value, and I definitely wasn't expecting to get him for market value, but I'll take it. I'll take it every day because hell of a deal, and the results that he's given so far, you're going to see throughout this episode, but the results have been absolutely outstanding. So a youngster, I think he was about 23, 84 rated. It's going from a 79 Douglas Luiz to like an 83 Chewy for not too much extra in terms of money. I thought it was hell of a deal. So I was pretty happy with that one. Then once I got that out of the way, I was starting to look for some backup strikers, because I wasn't happy with the backup strikers and also the wingers that we had at the club. Obviously, we have a gun winger, and I'll take you through the actual lineup soon. It'll kind of explain why I was looking for a couple people. Then once we made our first big marquee signing, it was time to start looking at some rotation players, some signings to the future, because I think we had about 70 million to start with. So bringing in a guy like Chewy, it left us with a lot of money considering the players that we had already sold. Shaker was another one who's like 20 years old, so he's a signing for the future. I feel like we've kind of got the luxury of being a good team that's got a lot of good players around us who can sort of, I don't know, carry us into the future. Like, we don't have to worry about building up a side. We've already got a half-decent side to start off with, so it's about just building around it. So that's what we're going to be doing. Bodu from Monaco was our next signing. 22 years old. I think he's about 73, so he's not someone who's, I think, going to be like a world beater, but he's someone who I think with the stats that he's got is quite pacey and such. I think he can be effective for us as a rotation player. Then we had Malin as well, 14 million plus Bendia. I think Bendia was in like the 80s, whatever. I'm pretty sure from memory, Malin's like value I think was about 38 million. So I think we paid about value considering Buendia's value and then the 14 million. So I think we paid about market value. I just had to do that because I was trying to save money and save room for other signings. So that was the thought process behind that. Then Tyrone Mings, I had to get rid of him. I was looking at the centre-back options, and we just have a lot of centre-back options. Obviously, he's pretty quick, so maybe I could have used him right back, left back, something like that. But 17.5 to go to Spurs at 30 years old, I couldn't pass up on that, honestly. I just couldn't. And with the centre-backs we've got, you'll see soon, it just, like, it made perfect sense. So, yeah, look, a 30-year-old, he's only going to go down. So, 17.5 for him. Brought in Mokoko straight away from Borussia Dortmund. As you can see, they're two Borussia Dortmund players. Quite pricey, but they are fairly young, especially this guy, 18 years old. I think he was 78 rated as well. So he's very, very good. Pretty sure he's French. I was looking to bring him in before Bodu, but I couldn't afford him at the time. But yeah, I brought in Bodu as like the replacement guy. And then all of a sudden I had money and I was like, let's bring him in. Let's just do it. Let's just pull the trigger and bring him in. So 19.2 for him. Maybe paid a little bit extra than what I would have liked, but it is what it is. I think he's going to be a star of the future. And then Callum Chambers, 74 rated, a centre-back. Again, we have Tyrone Mings. If I'm already selling Tyrone Mings, why wouldn't I sell Callum Chambers? He's 28. He's not going to improve for us. High wages as well. Can play right back, but doesn't have the stats for a right back. So him going to stay Renee, 4.2, had to be done. We're trying to sell him. He's someone I actually put in the transfer list and I was trying to actively get rid of. So had to get rid of him. Same as House, 2.8, going to Leon. Surprising signing considering he's 28. 2.8 for him. I'll happily take that any day of the week. Then we brought in 2 more youngsters. Somerville from Leeds United, 5.9. Definitely paid overs for him in my opinion. 73 rated. But I was looking to sort of just back up the wingers, and also I was converting some players. So some of the guys that would normally be a left mid or right mid, I was looking to convert them. And also I was looking to sell some of them, and I didn't actually end up selling them. So I've ended up with some more depth. But Somerville, someone who is definitely a signing for the future. And speaking of the future, 2.91, but 2.9 essentially for Yoro. 17 years old. He's like 71 rated, I think, something like that. Super tall, he's got good pace. This guy's going to be an absolute weapon. And considering House, 2.8, and I signed this guy for 2.9, you see the age difference. 9 years age difference and 1 rating difference. That's why I had to sell guys like House, guys like Chambers, and why I had no problem selling a guy like Mings. He's 79, but like the rating's going to go up drastically, I would hope. Then our last sort of big signing at the time, this is what I thought, was going to be Mainu. Signed him from Man United. Definitely a project player, 18 years old, 790,000. Didn't spend a lot for him, but I did like his base stats just in terms of the CDM. I like to play with the high work rate sort of guys. I'm not looking for the most creative guys. I'm just looking for guys who can just keep running and do a job for me. And I think he can in the future. Obviously not now, but I think we can develop him. And then Tell, I'm pretty sure we actually signed him. It doesn't show that we signed him, but I'm pretty sure we did. Or at least we sent him out on loan. So he's at Girona. And looking for him to be a little bit of a prospect, so that should be good. Kellyman, loan option to buy it. Hopefully get rid of him. Then we got to transfer deadline day, and these two are definitely out of order because Moreno, we have Digne, and we had Moreno. 1 overall difference. Moreno was obviously like the speedier one. Digne is not the most speediest left back, but 25 million. How can I say no to that? How can I say no? He was 80 rated, yes, so he's the highest rated left back, but Digne 79, so it is what it is. And then I brought in Matson. He wasn't the first choice one I went with. Honestly, I overpaid for him. Didn't have time to scout him. Kind of looks like Chris London, if I'm being completely honest with you, so I had to bring him in. But he is fairly decent. PSG obviously had him on the book, so he must be half decent. And I think he's like 73, 74 rated, 21 years old, 10.5. I think it said I could have got him for 8.5, but I definitely tried for that. But yeah, when I actually signed him, I didn't have a scout report, so I just took a gamble on him. But there we go. That's all of our transfers at ins and outs. Some of the other big ones throughout the transfer window were actually pretty big. We had one of the bigger ones in Chile, but Rodrigo's gone, Alexander-Arnold. In terms of like Liverpool, a few ins and outs, Martinelli, Hernandez, Kimi Stones. There's Chewy for us. So you can see, like, we did spend quite a bit. Hopefully we get the results to back it up. But let's go ahead and take a look at our lineup. So throughout the preseason and throughout the first couple of games that you're going to be seeing, this was kind of the base squad that we ended up using. I think I actually used Tielemans probably over Kamara. And Kamara was like a 79 when I first started. So Diaby were training him to be a left wing. Malan's training him to be a right wing. Cherky is there, but we've also sort of been using Ramsey a little bit. Leon Bailey comes off the bench. He's definitely an option for us. I really like him as a player. Tielemans is so slow. Like, I really don't know what to do with him because I'm kind of used to the pacey plays, and I think that's the most effective on EAFC. So I think that's what you got to be doing. But Makoko's there. Cons is another one I'd like to sort of build up. You can see he's 79, he's English, he is quite young, if I find his age, 25, so he's definitely someone for the future. We've got an aging Diego Carlos, and Torres isn't getting any younger either. In terms of the rest of like the squad, the depth, you can see here, look, 74 for Matson, he's good, Euro. The reason I could get rid of centre-backs as well is because we have Lenglet on loan from Barcelona. Traore, I tried to sell. We still got McGinn there in the midfield, who was quite good. Zeni Olo, it looks like he's from Roma possibly. He's like a right mid centre forward. When I play him, usually as a cam, so can use him as well. So we do have a fair bit of depth, and we got the guys I've brought in who will probably get opportunities at different times, like your Summervilles. Probably not Mainu, but I think Yoro will definitely play him throughout some of the other competitions. And this Erogue Bunham, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but he is someone who they have sort of hyped up a little bit. I'll quickly take you over the youth academy as well. So I heavily invested into the youth academy. I thought that the Aston Villa side is quite good as a base squad, so they didn't really need to bring in too many players in and out, but I thought we'd go in and develop some of these guys. You can see some absolutely fantastic prospects. 76 to 94 Bradshaw, English goalkeeper. 15 years old, already a 62. Got a couple good prospects there. He's definitely going to be one of the best of them, and hopefully when Martinez is ready to go, he can step in. The rest of them, though, very good. I don't know how Guzman, he was like our default one. Kind of hoping to bring him in just because he was not nostalgic, but just because he was the first guy. So hopefully we can develop him. But if I train them all up, you can see I've sort of got a couple plans on them. I think we might be able to get something nice out of him. Small's another one who could be quite good for us. Just have to see how things go. Now you're taking a look at the transfers, taking a look at the squad. Now it's time to take a look at the games. So here we have the preseason tournament. The first game is up against Almeria. Apologies for pronunciations. Apologies for pronunciations of some of these players probably going forward. But this first team, I'm pretty sure they're a Spanish side. I'm not sure if they're actually in the Liga or if they're in the second division. I think they're in the Liga though. They've just gone up the wing, and that's something that you're probably going to notice a bit of a common theme, a common trend, especially in this preseason games and probably in the early games. And that's the reason why I didn't want to do live comms, is because the defense is just not there. At some points, non-existent. You can see a little bit of good defense there, but some of the things that I would do in previous FIFAs, I'm just by default just doing it, and at the moment it's just not working. But Chewy gets it to Cash, and Matty Cash, you think he's going to finish it like naturally in previous FIFAs, bam, it's in, it's 1-1, but instead nice save by the keeper. And that's another thing I'm finding on EAFC24 is that the keepers either make ridiculous saves or they just don't make a save at all, and you're like, I don't know how they didn't save that. But it is Watkins going up the wing here, literally a solo run, a cool, calm, collected finish from Watkins there. Honestly, I was kind of shocked. Normally I would go for a cutback, I'd try and square it, I'll do something, but instead I kind of just was left with no option other than to just shoot. And also I should just mention too, obviously I've gone over the transfers and such, but at different points the transfers were coming in. So some of the guys you're going to be seeing, I might not have them in the squad at the current time, like by the time the season starts, or you might have seen them, they've already been sold or something like that, but they're currently playing in this game. So you're just going to understand that I showed you the ins and outs after it was all done. But it is Almeria extending their lead, or getting the lead back, I should say. So we've had little glimpses, but we've also had little things like that where we come rushing in. I go for a slide tackle when it wasn't needed. They threw a pass back into the middle, and this is something I'm noticing. I don't know if I think the computer's so much better or if it's like a little bit overpowered, but some of the passes and the runs that they do, it just feels like I don't really have too much control in actually stopping them. But a nice finish. I rushed to keep. I don't know why I did that, but we ended up losing 3-1 in the first game. We take on Las Palmas next, so I couldn't even tell you where they're actually from. That shows my football knowledge these days. But a red card to Vieira. I know him. Very, very good player. Very, very fortunate. He is the captain of the club. I'm assuming it's another La Liga side. But a pretty poor challenge. 2 minutes into the game, literally starting the game with a red card. So naturally you think we're going to absolutely smoke them. We're a Premier League club. We made some great signings. We've got Leon Bailey through on goal. I can't remember if I actually changed formations at this point. Like I said, I was kind of experimenting, and obviously I've experimented in a good way there as Bailey gives us the lead there. He's a guy who can play, I'm playing like a front three at the moment in terms of formations, 4-3-3. Don't know if that's what we're going to be doing going forward, but that's just something I normally play every year, and rotated the squad. So Consa comes in, our English centre-back, very high rated in terms of his age, but he does give away a penalty, and that's purely on me. It's just, again, I'm trying to figure out how to play this game. I'm trying to sort of get used to whether I dive in, do I hold off. It seems like if I dive in, I miss the tackle, but if I hold off, they just take a shot from anywhere and it just goes in. We're probably about to experience this as Iheanacho, former Man City man. I think he might have played for Leicester as well. Definitely been around the Premier League, definitely familiar with him. I've rushed the keeper again and he absolutely buries it. So a 2-1 lead with them playing a man down from 2 minutes onwards. So everything said that we're going to win this one, including this little pass here. Ramsey, our young gun, hits the post. I wasn't sure what to do with Ramsey as well in terms of where to play him. I'm playing a front three. He just doesn't quite have the pace to be a winger, despite him sort of being a default winger. So I'm going to try and transition him probably into the attacking mid role, something that I like to do. But you can just see here, just some terrible defense. Again, this is what I mean. Like, Terrible defense, but that shot was ridiculous. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that should be going in like that. Iheanacho, he had 4 attempts at goal, scored 3 of them. Like, it's not like we're playing absolutely terrible. Defense isn't there sometimes, but it's just like the few chances that a computer actually gets, they absolutely bury it. And like, I'm not even playing on the hardest one. I'm playing on Legendary. It goes up to Ultimate. I would hate to see what Ultimate would do to me. And I'm sure some of these other career mode guys are playing on it and having great success. But I am not. Although that was successful. Kamara, kind of like the second choice CDM. You know, I've got Tielemans there. I've obviously got Chewy as well, who I signed from Real Madrid. So I do have some options. But him and like Kamara, I've got to say, like in terms of overall ability-wise, he actually is one of the better players in terms of feel. And speaking of better players, Diaby, our best player, goes in and gives us a 2-0 lead against Atletico Madrid. We've lost against these bum clubs of their La Liga. No offense, but we've been getting towed up by them, but we find ourselves 2-0 up against Atletico Madrid, and they're not even fielding like a second string side or anything. They're playing one of their stronger sides, and we're kind of playing some rotation, guys. We have Diaby looking for a new signing. Marlon, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Marlon, let's call him Mal. Big Mal, that's what I'm going to call him. He goes in, gives us a 3-0 lead. What a goal, what a finish. And that's what we need to do. We just need to keep hitting sides on the counter. I'm not sure if that's going to work in terms of the Prem, because, you know, quite frankly, we are one of the better sides in terms of lineups. So I've got to find a way where I can break down sides and not be able to hit them on the counter, because like teams aren't, like when I'm playing Atletico, it's working because they're putting on a lot of pressure, getting a lot of people forward, and we find ourselves up 4-0. What a win. Best win so far. Best performance. A new signing as well. Our new attacking midfielder, Cherky. I'm going to call him Cherky. He ends up getting the 4th goal of the game, 90th minute. But the counter-attack seems to be the one for us. So I need to figure out a way to maximise the counter-attack for me. For those who are the preseason games, obviously a mixed bag. And I wasn't really too concerned with the results. It was more just me getting used to FIFA and just experimenting with the game, really. Just seeing what I can do, what I can't do, what I need to improve on. Obviously, defence is something I need to improve on. But now we've got the preseason out of the way. We've got all the transfers out of the way. Now it's natural that we take a look at the first few games of the English Premier League. So now it's time for the English Premier League, and it is a tough first game. We have Newcastle United, one of the teams on the up. They press as well, so that's something I'm going to have to sort of recognize as well. In like previous FIFAs, I don't think tactics has been too much of a factor. I kind of just go out there, I wing it, and that's what I'm trying to do, and I don't know if it's going to be as effective, but you see, they kind of go for a shot, we block it, but it ends up falling back to Almiron, and he just absolutely buries it. And it's just, if you look at the replay, I haven't shown the replay, but there's just a lot of standing around staring at the ball, and that's something that I have noticed even in other career mode content makers, is that like clearing the ball. And I mean, it's classic FIFA as well. Times when you're just like, I should have cleared the ball, you just don't do it. You try and play out the back and it doesn't work. But that one in particular was so frustrating because I just had such a good win over Atletico, and you're thinking, here we go, strong start would be nice. And obviously they go and score. But we hit back pretty quickly. It's Chewy there again. He's been an absolute revelation for us. In terms of what we pay for him and the output we're getting, it's absolutely incredible. And it's ironic that he's a defensive midfielder, and I bought him as a replacement for Douglas. But he's gone all out attack pretty much. But you see, we're creating chances, which is something that is quite nice, and that's something that, like, in terms of stats wise, we've made a lot of chances, just a matter of actually finishing them. And it's just something that I will get better over time with. And you know, I'm assuming there'll become a point where I just absolutely bury everything. But at the moment, we're not doing so. I was looking for the cutback because I'm not so confident in terms of taking shots. I don't know whether I should power shot. I don't know if I should finesse. Don't know if I should ship it. Don't know if I should bicycle kick it. We tried that one, nearly went in. That one there would have just been nice for dramatic effect, but look, it is 1-1. Should I just get rid of the ball? No, I play it out from the back. It's something I've got to do. Tielemans is someone who's highly rated, is super low in speed. And look, I'm hitting them on the counter-attack. This is exactly what I talked about with the Atletico game and just in games in general. The counter-attack, I think, is where it's going to suit us the most in terms of the play style that we have, the plays that we've got. I went and bought pace, and that's what we've got. But the point I was sort of getting at was Tielemans, as they go through and they score the equaliser. The foul that was given, I don't think was a foul to start off with, so that part was frustrating in itself. And then I'm just used to like those just being cleared off like very, very easy. But I think this might be a thing in EAFC where the crosses might be effective from a free kick, so I might have to try it myself. But it is 2-2 after us having a 2-1 lead. You're thinking we're going to go on with it, and then they find themselves up 3-2. Very, very frustrating, and I keep sort of touching on the Tielemans a little bit, but he's like the one player who, like, ratings-wise, is one of our, like, overall, is one of our better players, but doesn't really fit our system, so I need to figure out what to do. And then, you know, icing on the cake there, really, just buries the game. They absolutely annihilate that ball, finds the back of the net. Nothing I could really do. I mean, like, it's another case of I should have just cleared it, but ball just seemed to keep getting back to their feet, and then they just bury it like that. Like, it's ridiculous. Then we got Amira on here. He's already scored one. He passes it over. They score a little bicycle, and look, there you go, 5-2. We went from having a 2-1 lead. I was thinking, how good's this? I'm absolutely cruising. I've just beat Atletico Madrid. You know, how good's this career mode going to be? Things are just going smoothly, made all the right signings, and then they go and score another one. Barnes buries, and the game ends up 6-2. Like, it's an absolute ridiculous finish to the game considering how things were going. I personally don't think the result reflected the game, and it's funny doing the little the post-match interviews and that sort of stuff, and they're so bloody harsh, but it just reminds you of Football Manager. You're like, I don't think this quite fits how the game actually was. But you can see here, Makoko making his debut, signed him from Dortmund. I think we actually signed a couple guys from Dortmund, but 19.2, he's someone I tried to sign initially, didn't have the budget for it, and I ended up bringing him in anyways. Once we had sold a couple of guys, he was just someone I look at his rating, I look at his like stats, and I think Watkins is like a good striker, but he's not someone who I think is like a long-term striker. And look at that for a finish. Look at that. Like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I can't really recall too many times when I was in a position to actually take a shot like that. It's just like there's so much space for the opposition, yet when I get the ball, I'm getting closed down straight away. So I don't know if that's a tactic that I need to change. In comment section, if you'd like to help me out, be very much appreciated. But Takore just absolutely belts that one. And you just like look at it and you're like, I don't understand what I can really do there. Like, there's not a hell of a lot I can do to stop things, because I close them down, they still get the shot off, it finds its way into the back of the net, and it's just like, it's not like our defense is like low rated, and you know, we have one of the better goalkeepers on the game at 85 rated, but so far I've just noticed I can't really do too much. But it is Chewy looking for a bit of space there, doesn't really get too much, but takes a shot. What a goal! What a goal! Mate, look, the VAR's there, and take a look at it. When like the ball went in, I thought, oh shit. And this is what I mean, like, is the long shot, is it overpowered? A shot like that, as good as it was to go in, and you know, nice reaction. There's a part of me that wishes I was doing a live com to that one, because I was going off. There was no way I thought that was going in, but I just had to take the shot. But like, the Chewy one goes in, but the Diaby one doesn't. Like, that seems like it should have been, I'm not going to say a sitter, but much easier to the one that actually went in, and yet we got nowhere close to it. But we are creating opportunities, and I am sort of liking the dribbling somewhat, and the other times it's super frustrating. This being one of the frustrating times as they look to hit us on the counter. Dele Alli getting it to Beto, the number 14 is through, and he's going to finish this one. And right on halftime too, that's just something that you can't concede on halftime. I've just gone and done it. I don't want to say it's killed the game for us, but it's definitely threw a spanner in the works. And a nice block there on the line, possibly Matty Cash, I'm not sure exactly who it was, but a nice block there. Saves the day, but is it really going to matter? Because Harrison gets the ball and buries it. So no, it does not matter. They go and score anyways. It's just typical me on this game, and if you probably noticed, a fair few of the goals I've conceded so far been in very similar fashion, where they've just been either long shots or it's been me giving the ball over in a bad spot, just willy-nilly, just doing something I shouldn't be doing. A nice chance there. Obviously, we didn't finish it, but nonetheless, I just wanted to show those little clips just to show you that I am creating chances. It's not like no chances are created and like we're getting absolutely dominated. Like, we are creating chances, and speaking of chances, it is Chewy. No wonder Real Madrid had this guy. We got an absolute bargain, like 49 million for him. He's already scored one. He's about to score two. And so we get one back there. The comeback is on, baby. Are we going to come back like the Penrith Panthers? I bloody hope so. I bloody hope so. Is he our Nathan Cleary? Should I make him a number 7? In fact, I think he might already be the number 7. He is our Nathan Cleary, guys. If you're not Australian, you probably don't get that reference, but that's okay. We'll run with it. And then we have Cherky, our Frenchman, on the ball. He's so good on the ball, man. I think he's like 75 rated, but he is so good on the ball. 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. Not that I'm going to be using the skills that often. That's another chance there for Diaby. Getting himself in good positions, good chances, like a half-decent shot as well. Just can't finish it, but it is the 90th minute, so I was hoping we would have buried that one, but it doesn't matter. Watkins comes off the bench. You might have just saw like a glimpse of us making a sub as soon as that shot was saved. It was actually Watkins coming on. The only real chance, like, of the whole game he's had. Like, he literally got on, the corner was there, heads at home. It's 3-all, baby. Let's go. Let's trot. Watkins just saves the day. And now we move on to the third game of the Prem season. So far, no wins. 1 draw, 1 loss. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's just, I don't know. I don't really know how to look at it because Newcastle was a tough game. Obviously, Everton aren't doing that well, but it is still early in the season, so I'm not exactly expecting to come out and smash sides, but I was probably looking to come out and smash Burnley, I'm not going to lie, and that's an absolutely awful start. 9 minutes in, they go in and score the first goal. I think it might have been Rodriguez. He went and scored, possibly. I've also made a change too where Ramsey's coming to the starting side. I thought, why am I starting loanees? Why not develop our own guys? I'm training him up to be a cam. Let's just go ahead and play him as a cam. So that's exactly what we're doing, and it's the Derby. I should have just cleared it. I didn't clear it. They get the ball back. We have plenty of players around. You're thinking nothing's really on. Like, surely we're going to get the ball back. Someone's going to intercept it. Someone's going to make a tackle. Even here, like, there's 2 guys there, but there's just like a lot of standing around to find the defense does. Like, there's no closing down. Like, look how many of them, if you go and freeze frame it or do whatever you got to do, they just stop. They just stop and they don't move. And you just think, like, oh, if you're actually watching football, I don't think there's too much of just like a whole defense line just stop and stare. And it just seems to happen a lot on this game. That's one thing I have noticed. But it is 2-0. And look, we have made a comeback this video already, but I don't think this is going to be the case as they go ahead and score a third one. That's another point. It sort of fits with what I was saying. It's Rodriguez scoring the third. But that's another one where he's made a run. And if you go and look at who's tracking it, like, that should have been stopped. Like, there's no way he should have made that run. I mean, look at the defense there. They're tracking my runs, but, like, it's just, I'm not getting the same results. Like, the computer seems to do one thing and then my defense does another. And I don't know if that's my fault or I don't know if that's the computer just being bad for me. Turkey had a chance there at the end there. Wasn't meant to be, but we lose 3-0. So in this episode, to start the Premier League, 3 games, 2 losses and 1 draw. Not an ideal start, but I mean, I guess things could be worse. Could have been 3 losses. But there you have it, guys. That is the first episode. It pretty much covered the whole transfer window. Start the video, covered the preseason, covered the first couple of games of the season. Thought we'd get in nice and quick rather than drag it out. So hopefully you did enjoy that one. Hopefully you can appreciate us not drawing things out just purely to make the episode longer. I thought we'd just make it short and sweet. So yeah, hopefully if you enjoyed that one, go ahead and smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Super important in terms of growing the channel because I'm not renowned for being a FIFA YouTuber or EAFC YouTuber. So if you can go ahead and subscribe if you did enjoy that one. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Be very much appreciated. Do all that sort of stuff. Also, my social media is on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. Go ahead, give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. And also, want to give a special shout out to the members of the channel. Stuck solid with me, obviously over the NRL season. Now we're going into the FIFA season. Hopefully you guys stick with me there as well. Also the super chatters as well from my live streams. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the channel monetarily and just in general, thank you for supporting the channel. Now going forward, I'm probably going to upload on my second channel for the FIFA content, but I thought I'd chuck this first one up on the main channel. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that one, and stay tuned for more content on this channel and also the second channel as well, the FIFA channel. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous.